I guess this morning needs no introduction, but just for formality's sake, he began his career back in 2003 with Ghana Premier League club Liberty Professional, scoring 10 goals in 16 matches, record, you know. He spent 3 seasons with Serie A club Udinese via 2 seasons loan at Modena, netting on 15 occasions in 53 league matches. At Udinese, he scored 11 times in 39 league matches. In 2008, he joined the League One club Rennes, netting 14 times in 48 league matches during 2 seasons. Back in 2010, he rejoined Premier League club Sunderland, breaking the club's transfer record and netting on 10 occasions in 34 Premier League matches during 2 seasons. He represented Ghana at the 2006, 2010, and 2014 FIFA World Cups with 6 goals. He is the top African goal scorer in the history of the World Cup. Mr. Asamoah Gyan, aka Baby Jet, former captain of the Black Stars, joins us this morning on the Wiley the Board series. Kapita Kwaba, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to YFM.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is Captain's microphone.
There you go.
Before we get into business, I must really say this. In my history here at YFM, you are the most difficult person to reach when it comes to interviews. I'm going to say this on record.
Oh, really?
And I know my programs manager will back this, Eddie, and the crew. It's very, very tough to get Asamoah Gyan to sit with you in the studio. I'm sure you've seen him on other platforms. It's not easy. Are we even like, no. It's not even easy to get him to sit with you like this. And so when you get the chance, you go all out. I'm hoping that today before the show ends, and let me just say this is not going to be a witch hunting interview. Just so we can calm down and talk.
Don't worry.
I just want to know you personally, and my listeners are doing that with me this morning. I have questions that are intended to, inspire young people all over the world, people locked in. And so thank you for giving us this opportunity. It's mostly a Wednesday thing, but we're told you have a very busy schedule this week, and so we decided to just switch things up and do it on a Monday. We've never done it.
Yep.
And your Wednesday live, Matt, and then we decided to do it for you. We're playing a very good song in the back. I want us to start off by talking about that. It has Kofi Kinata on it. Yet, I think 2 days ago, he won a beautiful award. How did that collaboration come about? When Asamoah Gyan decided to just go hard on music, he picked people he wanted to put on the song. Kofi Kinata is a part. Our lead brother Castro is also on there. What informed your decision? I want to know. I don't think anybody has ever asked this before, but where did you get the inspiration to say, I want to do it with this man and this man?
Wow. Taking my mind way back. I think it was all from Castro. It was all from him because he put me into music. Although I had a clue about music, I know music. But it was Castro who put me out there, to the international scene. Sometimes people who don't even know me that well knows me as a musician.
Yeah,
that's the interesting part.
That's the truth.
So it was Castro who did all these things. Way back he was like, "Oh, I have this guy from Takrady who I want to put him on the song." And I said, "Why not? Because you've been very supportive. He's been supporting the guys way back. So he put him on the song. So when I listened to it, I was like, whoa. This guy is good. So that was how everything came about. But that time I was in Dubai, so I had to do my part in Dubai, and then we joined everything together, and then it became a hit.
What were some of your first reactions you received from your close circle? Because you were definitely playing a team. You had people who had never heard you do music before. At what point did you realize this song was a hit?
That was the African Girls.
Okay.
That was the first hit song we did. We were just sitting down, and then Castro is very, very creative. Somebody who can just look at you and then write a song and then sing there. So anytime he creates a song and he starts doing the a cappella, I also back it up and then do the harmonize. I just harmonize it, and if he saw the talent, so he's out. Let's go to the studio
and do it.
Yeah, so that was when we went to the studio. The African Girls was even with TH for Quadges at that time.
Wow.
We did it with TH for Quadges. But when we came, I think the valuation and everything, it wasn't. It was a good song, but it was too long.
Yeah.
So we decided to go solo. I decided to go me and him.
And you just cut it out and do it, and it became a hit song.
It became a hit song with a different beat.
Yes. At that point, did you ever consider, let me just, maybe football is good with me, but why don't I pursue music full time? Did you ever get to that point?
No.
Never crossed your mind.
I don't even see myself as a musician. It's just like a hobby.
Okay.
You know, I'm not a full-time musician. Get up and go to the studio, sleep there. You know, Castro was very, very dedicated.
Yeah.
You know, that is where he writes his songs. He goes there, and then he sleeps there. Sometimes at Kiwa's studio. You know, he sleeps there. That is where he gets his inspiration and then writes his songs. But I can't do that. Although I have the talent, I don't see myself as a full-time musician. People push me into it, but I don't see myself as a full-time musician.
Around that time, I did see you. I was quite young, but I did see you perform at events. I think it was an award show you performed at. Around this time, you were making so much from football. Music is obviously supposed to pay. Did you by any chance make any P from it? Is it because it came and you didn't take it, or it never came?
I was just supporting the act. I was just supporting people. I didn't take a penny. Even one Ghana CD from music. I just do it. You know, there are a lot of royalties that came, the African girls and everything. I played a huge role, but I just wanted to help. I just wanted to support somebody's career to go on. I didn't take any penny from music.
Feels good hearing this. Good morning to all my listeners. If you're locked in, this is Asamoah in the studio with me. Last question on music before we go. Kofi Kinata picked up an award just over the weekend. When you talk about rappers in Ghana, people who do high life and do rap and still gain the attention it gains. Presidential events are inviting him. He's playing music far and wide. When you look at where he's reached with where you saw him then, and speaking about the fact that Castro was the one that actually inspired you. Castro hasn't been around for a while. He's actually not with us. But when you cast your mind back and you look at now, if Castro were to be alive, where would you place him musically? Where do you think he would be musically? What road do you think he would be playing now?
Everybody knows him. You know, among the musicians, when he's there, he's the boss. They know it. And he's been writing songs for a lot of musicians. You know, the respect they had for him. And that is what I like about these musicians, because when they see him, the respect they have for him has been great, you know. So, and I always say, Audapa brought Kofi Kinata to the limelight, and he knows it. So, music
to be alive, you think like he'll be one of the biggest things in music in Africa?
He's already the biggest thing. He's already one of the biggest. Any songs he features on was a hit. Even Adonai, Sarkodie, you know, a lot of.
Until recently, it was actually the most streamed music video from Ghana on YouTube.
There you go.
And it had Castro on there.
So, and that is the greatest, one of the greatest.
Do you miss him?
Yeah. He would have been here with us. He would have been here with us if he was here. So, yeah.
Anyways, now let's get back to where it all began. Your early days growing up here in Ghana. What would young Asamoah do when he wakes up? Were you stubborn? And I need you to give me an honest answer, because Big Brother is over here. Were you stubborn? Did you have to struggle to pick football as an interest? Because clearly in every home, they would like you to go to school, become doctor, become politician. Did you receive any form of resistance from your parents at some point trying to do football or play football?
My parents tried. My mom was an headmistress. My father was a businessman who deals in maize. You know, go to Nkransa and bring maize. Talking about, sometimes I won't be hypocrite and say we were very, very poor. We don't, because very, very poor is those from the villages who don't have light. My parents tried their best, you know, to take care, to cater for our education. And growing up, it was my brother who started. He was Kobolo boy, the one who was just going everywhere and then playing football everywhere, you know, those times. And growing up, I saw him, and he became my role model. So everywhere he goes, he used to take me along, and take a stone. He just, hey, my friend, sit here and watch me. So I just sit down as the baby and then be watching him. So everywhere he plays, that was where he takes me. He takes me everywhere. You know, as his
little brother. You
know, so that was when I developed the love from the game. And I didn't know when I even started, but I started at the age of 9. I didn't know how it came about. I was even a goalkeeper.
You did goalkeeper?
Yeah. I was a very, very good goalkeeper as well. You know, so that was how everything started. Talent-wise, I got it at the age of 9. You know, the talent was there, everything was there. So sports
It's been with you since.
It's been within the family since. Yeah.
Around that time, you were growing, following your brother to play football. How was the football scene like? Help us understand. Was there, now you see footballers get huge sums of money. You hear their weekly salaries, and now everybody wants their child to be a footballer. Around that time, how were things like, from your point of view?
It's a generational thing. Those times, the people don't respect them, excuse me to say. They see footballers as illiterates, like Kobolo type. Sometimes you used to go to school and then a teacher walks in and you ask, what do you want to be in future? And then somebody will say, I want to be a president. Somebody will say, I want to be engineers and stuff. I was the only one who said I want to be a football star. And should I say prophesy? Because I said I'll be the first person to take Ghana to the World Cup, because that time Ghana had great players, but we weren't qualifying at that time. And I said the first time I'll wear the Ghana shirt, we'll go to the World Cup. Even my friends at that time can even testify. But I was the one who always stick to my talent, stick to my profession, what I want to do. I said I want to play for Ghana. I want to be a football star. And here we are now.
At one point, did you decide to take it super serious? Around this time in school, because I remember back in senior high school, footballers would play during the Milo season, and then during regular times, they're back with us in the classroom. How were you combining this, still playing? Because you mentioned you had it around the age 9. I'm sure you developed it, finished GHS, senior high school. Around this time, were you still known as a player, or were you doing it on the side?
Yeah, during those times, at the age of 9, when you see a child at the age of 9, and I said I started playing at the age of 9, those times, it was a big deal. A 9-year-old boy can walk to other city and go and play football.
Did you have to walk to any
yeah,
place?
You have to. From Zongo Junction to Zongo, you have to go to you walk to Salvation, you walk to Mamprobi, you walk from Polygono,
Just go and play soccer
at the age of 9. But now, when you see everything has changed, that is why in the Bible, when they say people were doing those things in the Bible, sometimes you'll be like, But those times it was real. Like 9 years old boy who can walk to that far. Now you see a 9-year-old boy walking to that distance and go and play football. So that is how everything started. But I was playing the under 10. But I discovered my talent. I knew I was gonna get there. I was at the age of 12, 14. That was how I took it serious. Yeah.
Great. Aside Big Brother being the direct inspiration, because you mentioned his steps were basically your steps. He goes and he carries you along. Around this time, there's TVs, there's social media. A kid, my niece and my nephews are I think 11 and 8. But they know football, okay? They know football, what is happening in the European League. They know what is happening all around the world. Around your time, did you have insights into what was happening outside Ghana football-wise? How were you doing that? TVs? Help me understand.
Yeah. We used to watch a lot of highlights, sports highlights. Although we don't watch the full matches. Although we watch Ghana when Ghana is playing at any time, we watch highlights. We watch European football. That's highlights. So we used to watch highlights, a lot of goals. So we saw a lot of great players. Even when I was later, I knew a lot of European players. Football has been my thing. So when you talk about the history of football, I know a lot. I know.
I asked this question because I wanted to know if you picked inspiration from any known figure outside.
Ronaldo, the Brazilian.
What about him did you love?
For me, he's the greatest player of all time. For me.
What makes him the greatest player of all time?
A center forward who has everything is rare, and I grew up to get everything like him. Because a center forward, you might have this one, you don't have this one. But I see myself as a complete striker. I wasn't lacking anything. And I thank God for that. My talent showed for it. Because when I go on the field, in my mind, I feel like 95% I'm going to score because of the talent I have. So when I face criticisms when I don't do well, I know the next time I'm going to correct it.
Okay.
So that if you check my records, I score in the Black Stars game every 2 games. So
if there's a downside, the next time you just double up and then you make sure you score.
there you go.
Great. Were there any initial hurdles you faced in playing football here in Ghana? I know the system here. I know you've touched systems outside Ghana, but what were some of the petty or basic challenges you faced as a young player here in Ghana? This is way before you decided to,
Facilities.
Okay.
So our facilities, we go barefooted, no grass. Sometimes we used to bandage and then we play barefooted. The first time I wore a football boot, I was like, hey, how can I kick the ball? So all these things is happening now. Now we have our academies, Our time, you were just going, hey, Mombra match, Yambo match, and then we play area to area. You play. And then I became a coach player there. But the performance-wise, I'll count myself lucky. One of the lucky guys, because everywhere I go, I stand out. Everywhere I go, I stand out. No matter what, maybe I go with a team that doesn't have money or something, but I was treated special. At that time, because of my talent. Everywhere I go, I would just deliver. So,
were there a time you ever maybe did justify? I think that's the term. I'm very bad when it comes to terms in football. You did justify and you were not picked. Do you remember a moment like that? Because honestly, where we sit, we think you got it. You just had it through. But were you ever? Did you ever receive a no as an answer in your football journey in the beginning? And who did?
It was during my academical days.
Okay.
Secondary schools, you play the intercore and then they select you. A lot of schools, and then you go to Winneba. About 80 players, and then they select the best 25 to represent the country. That is the academicals. So when we went, I was even injured. I got injured in the first training, so I was just there, but they couldn't drop me because they saw my talent in the first training. So everybody was going home. I was just there. You understand?
Perfect, guys. Keep your messages coming in 0202222073. If you have a question for us on Twitter at Y107.9 FM as well. Now let's talk about how the system works here in Ghana. I know for our side, let's say if a musician does music or a radio presenter gets into the business, he earns his stripes here and maybe applies to a station like BBC or Scouts. Agents come down and they work through things. How does it work in your system, football, and how did it work for you? Your first opportunity leaving Ghana to play football professionally. How did that come about? Do you remember how it happened? Who made it happen? How the process was?
It started from my brother, because my brother opened the way. Idolizing Ronaldo, be so rest in peace. The former, the owner of Liberty Professionals. He was managing my brother. I didn't know how he saw him. But when I came to the scene, I also called him my manager. Although he wasn't my manager, so he saw me playing one day, and then he took me serious. So he started following me. So he was the one who did everything for me. Went on trials outside, and then here am I now. But initially, he was managing my brother.
Okay.
He was my brother's manager.
And then you also just joined in,
and
basically.
then I became his player. He also managed me. He managed me a lot. He managed a lot of players, the Michael Asian, the Suleiman Taris, most of the players I think all comes from Idolizing Ronaldo.
Good. You played in a system where things were not very rosy. The facilities were not really great. When you got the opportunity to actually play outside, what was some of the shocks you received? Things that you saw and realized, yo. And how did you deal with the shocks in the switching environment and all that?
Where I struggled a bit was the climate.
Okay.
When it's cold. And I went there in January.
Damn.
I left Ghana in 2004, in January. To that cold. I wasn't used to it. So that was my struggle. But when you talk about the pitches, Ghana, of course, our pitches weren't that good. So when I saw a good pitch, I was like, hey, they're into me.
No, what to be the eye also now way.
So that one was a big motivation for me. I was like, go for it.
So, do you remember your first check? What were the details of the contract? How much money? I don't know. Is it permitted? I think right, for motivational purposes. Okay.
in 2004.
Okay.
When I left Liberty, of course, Liberty was I was signed 500 Ghana.
That's per game?
No, my signing fee was 500 Ghana cedis.
Wait, like
500 Ghana, 5 million.
you're 5 million.
Old currency. Then. That was when I was.
And that was
signed
for how long? I help me understand. So
from Coast.
Okay.
And then Liberty signed me for 500
And the
Ghana
signing
cedis.
was for 500 Ghana cedis.
500 Ghana cedis.
Like as compared to how people get signed for maybe 230 million
Yes.
euros, yours was 500 Ghana cedis.
Yeah, I was signed for
but was it big money for you then?
That time.
Yeah.
It
was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money. 500 Ghana, 2004. And then I was given 250 Ghana. I always tell them they owe me now. And then this 250.
Wait. So the 500s, if you didn't get all the 500,
I didn't
you
get
got
all.
250.
So this 250 Ghana. My brother's one of his old cars. He didn't want me to drive at that time, but there was his old one of his old cars were there. So the engine was a bit faulty.
Yeah.
So I took 100 Ghana. I went to Abusukai, bought a new engine, and then I put it in
The money's almost done.
Yeah, so it was left with 150 Ghana. Yeah. So I had to pay this mechanics and everything with 50 Ghana.
Yeah.
And then the 100 Ghana. I was a rich man. So I was just those times, yeah.
Wow. And so you had the opportunity to go play outside, and how much did they sign you for?
My first contract I was earning 3,700 euros.
3,700 euros
a month.
A month?
Yes, at Udinese, my first season.
From 500 Ghana cedis to 250 technically. 250 Ghana cedis for the period.
Yes.
To 3,000. How did you... This was obviously big money for you.
It was,
young man, energetic, in Udinese, playing and scoring. Already you told me as soon as you entered, you're like, Kuomo.
Yeah, because at Liberty I was earning 100 Ghana at that time.
Yeah, and then it moved to
3,700. And then I was loaned to Modena for 2 years. And Modena I was earning 7,000 something. So I moved.
Yeah, you moved up, yeah.
Yeah, so I won't say the rest.
Yeah.
So after my loan, I came back to Udinese. That was after the World Cup.
Okay.
In 2006 World Cup. I was a World Cup material.
Yeah. So now the value had gone up.
Yeah, it has gone really, really up. And I had a contract. The following year, I had a contract to move to Russia.
Okay.
Huge contract. And then they decided they want me to stay for another season. So they had to just change my contract and stay within it.
Yeah.
And that was when I started making money.
Around this time, you had seen money. How were you managing your money? What were you doing with it? I want to know.
That time I was young. I was young. So Scaba, flashy things and stuff. Till I became more older, and then I
decided to just cut some of these things out.
Yeah.
When you look back, your early career outside Ghana in the West, are there any things you regret doing then?
No, I don't regret anything. Because I had my brother who was guiding me. My parents were also guiding me. So, and I'm a good listener.
Okay.
I'm a good listener. Although I'm very tough.
Yeah, you're stubborn a bit.
I'm very, very stubborn and tough if you don't do the right thing. But I'm a very good listener. Yeah, that one, yes.
I love that you mentioned the World Cup. How did the calling come about? Do you remember the first day the information came that you had been called?
I was called in 2003.
Yes.
I started playing for the national team in 2000 when I was a local player.
Yeah, and you promised to play the World Cup the first time you wear the jersey.
Yeah, that was when I was in JSS that time. It was JHS.
You said
now
it's
JHS. Now before it was JSS. I started when I was a little. I was a kid. So I started playing for the national team when I was in Liberty.
Yeah.
Before I went to Europe. So I was already a blaster player before moving to Europe.
And then they called, but obviously when it's time for World Cup, they announce a team, right?
Yeah.
There's a selection that comes out. Were you surprised when you were mentioned, or because you were? Yeah,
I wasn't surprised because I was a fixed player. I was already consistent in the team. I was scoring goals. I was consistent in the team. So there are certain players that are very, very inconsistent. Like now, you have players that like Partey. When you are calling the national team, there are some players that
you can't take out the constant.
Because they have been very consistent in the national team. So that was how I was. Although I was very, very young at that time, 18, 19, but I was very, very consistent and I was scoring goals at that time. So you can't take me out.
Whatever was offered obviously wouldn't have been close to what you were earning then. What motivated you to say, yes, as much as you were part of the team already, you had things going for you, you decided to still come back and represent a country like Ghana. Before that, you knew how Ghanaians talk, you knew how Ghanaians receive things. What motivated you to say, yes, I will play for my country?
Those times, social media wasn't around that time. We had football fans who were strictly with football. But now social media, somebody doesn't know anything about football. The person hears the scores and then come and write something. That is that. But those times, sports people, football people followed football at that time. So they understood the game at that time. But now, somebody who doesn't understand anything about football, but a person can write something about football. When you read it, you're like, no. So it's a generational thing. So those times when they called you to the national team, it was a big deal because there were a lot of great players at that time. The competition was there. To wear the national team jersey
there was pride in it.
Pride, very, very difficult. Like to wear that team jersey.
Around that time, did you guys get support enough to propel you to do what you were supposed to do? How was the support system like? Because now we still hear people complain. How different were things then? Was it a worse situation? Was it close to what it is now? How were things like? Support.
It's a generational thing. It's a generational thing. Every generation and the way things go about. We get our bonuses. We do what we have to do. Definitely, there might be challenges that players might complain. But it's all it comes with the territory. Everything is normal. It's like that. What we saw there is the same thing here, but it's a different generation altogether. Definitely, when you see something that you feel like it needs to be done well, you complain and then everything will be solved. So those times and this time, but what I'll say is those times football people were football people. There were more football people. But now everything changed after 2006 when we went to the World Cup. You see people coming to the stadium, they come and support, which is very nice, very, very nice. But sometimes social media, the abusive things. And
I was going to keep this question for later, but I know you as a very strong-willed man, okay? I've seen personalities outside the corridors of Ghana have their social media accounts managed by agencies. First of all, do you manage your accounts yourself? Are you the one that tweets sometimes?
I manage my account.
So you handle it yourself?
Yeah, I handle it myself.
Okay.
So if you see any tweet, it's me.
You didn't even let me get to where I was getting.
It's me.
It's you. Like you did it. Okay. So
if it's not me, then maybe it's hacked or something.
Okay.
But every tweet you see,
you say it's you. Do you think personalities, public figures, should have other people take over their social media accounts to sort of like sieve the kind of things they put out when tempers rise? Or you think they should be allowed to,
It's verified. It's a verified account. So if you see any tweet or the person doesn't handle it, definitely it's the person who say, okay, Munchowi, write this. So it doesn't matter if it's the person or somebody,
but it definitely represents the person.
So if it's a verified account, it means it's the person. So anything that comes is the person. It's whether it's the person who tweeted it or not. It's a verified account. So that is where people should be careful. When you don't see any verified account,
it might be anybody else.
It can be anybody else. But when you see a verified account, it's the person. Unless the person says, oh, maybe my account has been hacked. This is not me. Somebody can hack the account and write something. That is where we should be. But when you see any verified account, it's the person.
Okay. How do you deal with negative criticism near cyberbullying? You see how I framed it? People criticize. Some hide under the guise of I'm criticizing Asamoah, and say things that are rude, things that are mean to every human being. How do you handle it? And in your years of experience, have you handled certain situations you feel you could have handled better?
I'm a real guy, very, very real. You know, I say as it is. You understand? So when I see these criticisms, I don't read those things. You know, maybe I'm a positive guy, so the negative side, it comes from friends or people I'm related to, because when they see those things, they are my guy. For example, if you are my guy and you see somebody insulting me, you get upset.
Yeah.
You know, so that is where I see maybe they forward it to me. You know, like, look at what these people are saying. That is where I see the negative.
Yes.
The negative, but I don't focus on the negative things. You know, but I always say, when you want to criticize somebody, criticize the person with facts. But when you abuse the person, you know, you go too far. It means it's a personal thing. Now we have betting something. Somebody has to bet.
Yeah.
You know, and the person doesn't win. You know, obviously the person will start attacking you.
Yes.
Because of a personal interest. That is the difference. You know, so by me, I don't focus on.
Do you think as a country we've failed or done enough or not done enough in protecting the views of people, from protecting the personalities of people against social media bullies?
We have to. That is where we have to be a bit careful. You know, we acknowledge the media. You know, they've been there for us. You know, without them, we can't be where we are. Without us, they can't also get news. You know, but sometimes there are some people who you shouldn't give them that platform.
Yeah.
You know, the person hasn't done anything to be on that platform. You know, to come on maybe radio station, and then there are some people we see.
Yeah.
You know, they come in there, they have the opportunity to come and then say certain things to create news.
Yeah.
Are we going forward or not? So this is the problem.
Do you think, as part of our ways to curb these things, lawsuits should be encouraged?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
We can advise, you know, them, you know, but if you say,
but what if you advise and they're still
if you say then if you want something and you go, they say, oh, I only make a call 2% maybe wow. So it's all about outside, you know, behind the scene, talk to the person or something. Or if the person is doing it, then you have no option.
Just, you know, take legal action.
Yeah.
Understand that. What would you describe as your highest moment in your entire football career? Highest moment?
World Cup.
Which one?
2010.
Okay.
In South Africa, I always say it was my best year in my career. In terms of football, in terms of life. In life, everything was perfect for me. Everything was working in 2010. I even did music. It was a hit.
Yeah.
Everything was working in those times. Football-wise, I was scoring goals, injury-free. I was enjoying my football. I really enjoyed my football in 2010.
The other side of it, and I don't want this to be the situation everyone knows. Beyond that, have you had moments you personally feel, or a moment you personally feel would be your lowest beyond what people saw? You know, what was on screen that happened, you took massive criticism for. Is there any moment beyond that you feel would be your lowest moment?
Personally, I always say it was 2008. You know, the AFCON, the one Ghana hosted. You know, you remember how I threatened to leave the camp.
Yeah.
You know, that was my lowest moment. Not the World Cup that people have been saying. The World Cup is football.
It's a game of chance.
Yeah, you can miss a penalty or you can. It's football. But 2008 was the first time I witnessed those criticisms, because growing up was very good for me. I was hailed everywhere, but that was the first time I felt that criticism, because I felt like it was a game that we won against Namibia. No, but there was a chance that I missed, which was very, very difficult angle that I missed, and then people were expecting me to score in that match.
Did you feel Ghanaians were ungrateful that moment?
That time, I felt like people didn't understand the game. You know, so I was very, very angry. Like very, very. It's even
in you till
now. Not even the World Cup was, but that particular moment, my mom called me in the morning, crying on the phone. That was when I threatened to leave, and the former president Kufuor came there, spoke to us, and everything was okay. But my spirit was already gone. in that tournament.
Will that be the moment you decided, you know what, I'm going to do it for Ghana, but then I won't really break my back for Ghana no more? Will it be fair
at that
to say
time?
that?
At that time, I said that, okay. But after I was like, no, this is not me.
Okay,
you know, I'm here to play for the country. I'm here to that. Since then, everything was okay. You know, I came 2010 to 2019 that I had my last game. You know, so that was, but 2008 was one of my toughest moments.
Wow. I knew. I mean, I think I had read a little bit about it, but I didn't know it was this intense.
Yeah, it was very intense.
Good. When you went back, did it affect your style of play back in your country where you played?
Yeah, because I came here to sacrifice.
Yes.
I was already battling injuries.
Yes.
At the end of the day, I got injured in the tournament. They had to fly me to Spain. Did the operation, stayed out for 5 months before coming back. You know, so that pain within me was like, yeah, I was very, very angry. Even now that I'm talking, I'm being emotional. I just, so I just don't want to go there.
Cool down. We're going to talk about the all regional games in a bit, but I have a question in here from Suleiman Isaac. So Suleiman works with Zenith Bank at East Legon. Suleiman says, Rev, since Asamoah's departure from Black Stars, the team has, in my opinion, the team has struggled to find a striker who can score goals as consistently as he did. What does he think is the underlying issue? Do you think there's an underlying issue as to why we haven't been able to find a striker your caliber?
We have different kind of players, but what I've seen is the link-up play between the midfielders and the strikers. Last time I even tweeted,
yes, I did
about
see that.
Inaki Williams not getting those balls. And as a striker, any movement you have to just put the ball there. For the person to even lose it. Because you have to keep the striker on their toes.
Yes.
But when the striker moves and he doesn't get any ball, he becomes frustrated. So when the midfielders has a ball, like they have a ball, he doesn't know what to do. He's not ready enough. My time, I was lucky to have midfielders who were more penetrative, who were more direct, forward players like Instant Steven Appiah, Michael Essien, all these guys were direct players. When they have the ball, they just look forward. If the striker doesn't make any movement, then they can switch and play the square passes. But it's a different generation altogether. Now we focus on the possession more. But you have to be direct to the striker. When you play, feed the strikers.
Because the goal is the focus at the end of the
but
day.
the strikers are not fed that much. That is where we struggle. And these players, you see that when you go to their clubs, you see them scoring goals.
Yes.
So it's something that I think the technical team have to create. To make sure we put direct balls. You can play your possession, but at the end of the day, you want goals. Just feed the strikers.
That's great. Thank you for that answer. So this other question says you've played under several coaches with Black Stars. Who in your journey would you describe as your favorite coach, and what was special, or what would be special about this particular coach?
Just Atukwefio took me from Liberty. He gave me the confidence. Got to the highest level. But I had a lot of great coaches. Good coaches who I was scoring goals under them. They also benefited from me. But the coach that I was more comfortable, he was, gives you your role to play, guides you. I think it was Claude Leroy.
Have you met him since he left?
I met him in one of the afternoons.
Okay.
Yeah, that time I've forgotten one of them. Because I met him. Yeah.
Does he know he's your favorite?
He knows.
He knows.
He knows because he had my style, my way of living. He's very free guy. He leaves you to do what you want, and then he guides you. And when you make mistakes, he calls you. Says, "I've given you room, but make sure you do this.
You do the right
thing." So
thing.
He gives you the confidence in the world to do whatever you want to do. When you see any mistakes, he just directly say, "Okay, I've seen you want to do this, but add this one."
So free will, belief in you, and then when you go wrong, he guides you back. Okay, great. Tell us about the vision, goals, and mandates of the all regional games. Where's this idea from? What are you looking at achieving? What is the goal for the all regional games?
All regional games, we looking to improve sports in Ghana, not only
Not just
football,
sports.
We want to, yes, entire sports. You know, I always say we go to Olympic Games and then you see, Ghana for just one person running for
that's true
100 meters. Or once in a while you see boxing, you know, going to the semi-finals or something. No, but we need other sports disciplines, you know, to make sure when we go, you see
we're heavily represented.
Yes, Nigeria is dominating. You see Ethiopians dominating, Kenyans dominating, but you don't see Ghana. You see Ghana in just one heat, like 100 meters or 200 meters. And this is what we want to develop the sports in Ghana. That is how the all regional games came about.
All right. So I think you and I remember there were other, you know, sporting activities like the intercore and the rest. How different is the all regional games going to be from these ones? Because you know, back in school, you know, my we know see talk. I think I was playing basketball at some point in Legon. They even remember me. I stopped because what's the point? I found radio interesting because why am I the one buying my old jerseys and all that? You know, how different is this going to be from what already exists? How special is this going to be?
You see, most of my interviews, I always say, you just said it. I go to places and then somebody will see me and the person will be happy to see me, you know, taking pictures, and the person say, oh, me, I was at school, I was 100 meters runner.
Was playing, my DJ was playing tennis. You stopped at some point.
Like the way you also say you were a basketball player, but you stopped, you know, and this is how the all regional games came about 10 years ago. You know, everywhere I go, I just like, oh, okay. No, Johnny in the air then. You understand? It could see saying. You know, but they didn't get that support. Those times from Interco, maybe you didn't get that support. This is why all regional games is here. You know, to bring all these people from nowhere, you know, from the villages, you know, to register on www.allregionalgames.com, you know, to make sure they improve on their talent, and then we are here to discover talent. And this is where all the 16 regions, you know, they have trials, you know, for all the 9 disciplines, you know, to get their best representation, to represent that region. And then on the November 4th, they'll come to Accra
and battle it out
to find the best.
Help us understand, okay? I think the usual thing is teams from schools, and you like to involve all these ones. That's what we know. But if I got it right, yours is basically open. Register if you think you're good, and then come and do the trials. And I can put the microphone on.
Put a microphone on for the
boss. Sorry,
the coordinator.
So Asamoah came with his coordinator for the all regional games, and I think he has the technical answers. Boss, so you can register as an individual. You don't have to be a part of any school team. You don't have to, because what I realize is back in school, I went to Kumasi Anglican, by the way, CAS, and you have to be in a certain caliber or a certain range to make it into the school team for either basketball or the track game. And you find out there are people who actually not joining those teams but are better than the ones that are playing. Yours is opening it up to everyone to register. Tell us about that.
So basically what it is every region is totally open, and by the way, it's for both male and female. It's not just male dominated. So it's totally opened. You go to online to go and register. The moment you register, a date and time will be given to, we've scheduled them in the block system. So you have certain days that within certain people that have to go and do play your justify your inclusion, and then you have the coaches seated, and as they are organizing the justify your inclusion, they are handpicking people that basically will be shortlisted to represent the region. So it doesn't matter whether you're in school, whether you belong to a club, it doesn't matter where you are, just show up, register, go and trial. And if you are,
is there any age bracket? Because I'm rethinking going back, you know, to play. Am I too old for it now?
Okay, for the football, we capping it from 18 to 23.
Okay, 18 to 23.
The cap. For the other sports discipline, we've opened it up, provided you're above 18. For the maiden edition, we stick to 18 and above, because under 18 means you are a minor in the sight of the law, and then that means you need to get parental consent and other bits and pieces. And because it's the maiden edition, we want to limit some of these bureaucracies and things that you have to go through. Subsequently, we're going to open up. We're going to do the under 18s, but for now, for the maiden edition, it's only from 18 and above. So provided you are 18 and above, you can actually go and justify yourself.
Okay. So what kind of opportunities is this going to create for people who partake in this? At the end of the day, what am I getting? What opportunities am I going to get beyond what is already done?
Fantastic. I mean, couple of things that his main vision is an talent and then discover them at a very tender age or younger age. Now, we have three main exit strategies for this event. And the event is going to be running every year anyway. So the first event is exits, we invite a lot of international clubs to come and discover talent. So at the National Sports Festival, which is going to be held from November 4th every year, you have international clubs that are going to be available to actually scout talent. That's the first exit. The second exit also is for the local club to also discover talent, because this is a case where you can have a child in Tripoli who will be very good in defense, who will be very good in striking and midfield, and it would have taken years for a club in Kumasi to discover such a young talent. So we aiming that the exit strategy too is through this intervention, some of the clubs might adapt some of these youth to actually come and play for them. The tech that this is what Balfour personally is working on is liaising with a lot of universities to actually give sports scholarship for those that want to pursue their education. So between 25, 50, and then 100% scholarships is going to be available for kids that will actually qualify for that area. And then those who doesn't actually try, you have the following year to also go and register, come back to come and do it as well.
Are you getting any form of support from the government? Who are you getting support from?
Currently,
this is such a big project.
Yeah, currently about 3/4 of the financing is coming from Gyan and his friends who are contributing to this particular vision. We also have some few sponsorship on the background. Some are yet to come on board. Some are already on board. At the appropriate time, we'll put their names out there. But let me also use your platform to also reach out to all corporate institutions. Come and support a particular region. This is a case whereby for the first time you're going to have 16 regions competing against each other. And then with the bragging right with a team coming from northern region or from Moti to come and win. Exactly. And the funny thing is, when we're doing the regional torchlight during the northern sector, you have the northern sector saying, listen, we're not going to sit down for Ashanti people.
They never said that, actually. No, they never do. No, if anyone listening went to school in the Ashanti region, I went to school there. The Northerners, they don't play.
Very competitive.
No, they don't play.
Extremely competitive.
They will tell you they can run from Tamale to Kumasi if you play with them. And the thing is, you see, I love projects like this because it's going to throw more light in what they're doing. They are working, but then the attention isn't given to them. And so I believe this project, not to catch you, is going to give the right attention to the right people without any cuts or bureaucracies.
Exactly. And that's one of the most beautiful things, because there's a case whereby it's national. All televisions, reducers are glued in. We can all see talent from all sorts of Ghana, and then we can now say, okay, any reason why this person is not going to the national team, any reason why this person is not pulled from this side to that side, whereas things are done bureaucratic way before you can actually play for.
You have to know people.
Exactly. So it's one of the most exciting things. Another interesting thing is we have a lot of retired coaches that comes with years of experience. If you're looking at him, his majority of his gratitude he pays to Coach Sapon. And Coach Sapon, good afternoon wherever you are. And basically these are people that they have years of experience and expertise, and they are not being used. They are sitting at home and then just being useless. If I have to put in that context, not literally useless. We're bringing all back into it. So if you are coaching any of the 16 regions, kindly go to www.originalgames.com, go and register. We'll verify your credentials to make sure you are good standing, and that coach will be responsible for that particular region in preparing them to come and battle it out on the November level. Exactly.
That sounds good. And so this is a project worth all the attention. It's worth emulating. I would like to ask Asamoah himself, what are you looking at seeing? He's told us the goals, the visions, but are you looking at a situation whereby other people will start doing this, or maybe the government will say, you know what, he's doing it, let's support?
And we'll be very, very grateful. We'll be very, very grateful if governments decides to support, because we're doing this for Ghana. And if the government sees something we're doing and it will benefit Ghana and they decide to support, why not? So we want to create champions. We want to see the next Asamoah, the next Emmanuel Tufours, the next other sports disciplines, to have legends, in other sports disciplines. Sometimes we call it, excuse me to say, the lesser known sports. It shouldn't be like that. We should dominate in all the sports. And so we're opening it to every Ghanaian to come support this event, because we're doing the launch on the 29th of June at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Right. That we want to fill the stadium. We want people to know what Original Games is about before the trials start, because once we're talking, they've even started the trials without even they started the trials. Some of them have started and then we want everybody to go on www.allregionalgames.com. Just register, get in there, represent your region, and in November 4th we will battle it out. Media, I'm supporting
I was being in your corner doing
I'll be controversial, but I also have my region I have to support. What region are you supporting?
Ashanti region. I'm supposed to represent Central, but Ashanti region.
I'm supporting OT.
Your OT region.
I'll match it for OT region.
My brother said he likes Damango.
Why?
So it's gonna be great. We want Ghanaians to support. And also the interesting thing is during the launch, my friends, the musician friends, they saw the initiative. They called me. They're like, hey, I would like to come support. As I'm talking, when the Shea is on board, Stoneboy called me. He said, "Oh, Asamoah, when I'm in Ghana, or I'll try and do everything for you free." So there, and most of the artists coming from Kumasi, we want to have a very nice show. The launch, and then a very nice show for even those who will come enjoy.
I tell you what,
to come and enjoy their artists and everything.
I tell you what. So I'm listening now, and so I work with a team. We're also going to throw in our support as a station.
Thank you.
And see how best we can give you some mileage. I mean, we have the youth listening. YFM, the brand. We're in Takoradi, we're in Accra here, we're in Kumasi, and so we're throwing our support. I think after that we'll pick a conversation up with our coordinator, and then see how YFM can also support in making this dream a reality. I think it's not far from the reality.
Thank you.
As a matter of fact, this is sports. We see great men. We see people sell their countries through sports.
That's right.
The Olympics idea beats my mind. I love the fact that at least somebody is looking at it, because it's poor. You travel. We have the France games coming up, and some of us are scared. Like, what's really going to happen?
There you
go. But then I believe with this initiative, years to come, we actually see, a positive curve in creating the sports personalities we're supposed to creating big men in the game like Asamoah Gyan, so we can move forward as a country beyond politics and then business. Speaking about business, you're one such person that loves business. Okay. What inspired you to create the brands you've created business-wise? Because, yours is football. And if I'm not wrong, footballers receive some form of retirement that's able to cushion them for life. What inspired you? I don't want you to say your brother again. This one, because I feel like you're going to say your brother. If you say your brother again, I'll just call Barfoot to come and read it. What gives you the kind of ideas? And you're really down on the streets doing water brands and all that.
I want to change the perception that people have. Seeing footballers or my colleagues in some way, that we can do corporate work also. We can do something like that. So I just want to change the perception people have. So everybody can do it. You can be a banker, you can be a good businessman and everything. Sometimes we have struggles in business. Business, you can win some, you can lose some.
You can lose some,
but it's all about taking the risk, to do whatever. Me, I feel like in life, it's all about risk. When you take the risk and you succeed, you are there. When you lose, you come home, correct your mistakes, and go back. So I just want to change that perception people have about football. That.
Great. You definitely still watch football now. Are you Ian? Do you see yourself in any football player when you watch football these days? Do you see yourself do you see anyone this guy?
Okay. Once upon a time, my brother came on radio that time, Choice FM, I think, and they asked him the same question,
right?
That CC himself, and he said his brother at school. That was me. You understand? And then the callers started calling, and those times there were a lot of strikers there, and my brother said his brother.
Yeah. And now at that time, people had not even seen him.
No, I was at school. Yeah. So he said it at that time, and people doubted him, and here am I. So now I've seen my nephew.
It's a family business. They are keeping it in the family. Okay. Who's this nephew? What's his name?
Denzel. Yeah. Denzel Jan.
He's in school?
Denzel Jan. That's his. Okay. My nephew.
So you're giving it back to him.
And also Raphael, my son. He's the
Ralph. I know Ralph.
Ralph has got passion for it. Junior, the first one, he's good, but I just don't want to force the game on him. I feel like we force him because of my legacy, so I just don't want to force him to play.
Do you think he has interest in it?
He has, but he needs a bit of.
He still needs to have the tough man in there.
Yeah. So, but Denzel has started doing an incredible things that he's beyond my imagination. His coaches, friends call me, and then I've watched him, and he's even got a very good left foot. I have the good left foot, but not like what he's doing. If he can pursue it to the next level, I think he's gonna be great, because I've seen something that I had in him. So Denzel, you should watch out.
All right, so we're going to keep Denzel's name down. Obviously, this video is going to be on Facebook if it happens.
Don't put pressure on him.
Don't worry. We'll just come back and refer to it.
Yeah, it should be.
I have a question in here from Selassie. Selassie says, good morning, Rev. Please, what's Asamoah's thoughts on Otuado's second tenure as a Black Stars coach? Is this something you'd want to...
It's like with the GFA. The GFA saw it. We all saw it. They saw something in him that maybe people doesn't see. As a technical person, I've been in the game. He's a good coach, and what we have to do is just support his project. If he doesn't do well, then they can decide. But I think every coach deserves a chance, to prove his worth. So for me, as a technical person, I put my support, and I want everybody to just support him to achieve his goal. If he doesn't perform, then nobody has option then to decide. So I think they did what they had to do to invite him. So we have to just show our support.
All right. I'll get one more question from our viewers in a bit, but this has to do with music and our creative arts sector. You can't leave us. You're still with us. There's a lot happening in our country now with regards to our creative arts and entertainment sector. There's constantly pressure on our artists to do better, to reach heights like the Grammys and the BETs and the rest. Football wise, we've gone. We've reached certain heights. We have players all over the world representing Ghana. What do you think, in your opinion? I mean, when you sit where you sit from, or where you sit at, what do you see? What do you think we're not doing right as a music economy? Why do you think we're not making the strides countries like Nigeria, South Africa are doing, in your little opinion?
We have to support.
Okay.
You have to support the artists.
It's an issue with support.
You have to support the artists. When you go to India, you don't see anybody playing hip hop there.
So yours is on the Play Ghana agenda, right?
They play their music. Even if another music, ours have to dominate.
Okay.
But now, before like the olden days, I listen to music. I can sing more old time songs than now.
And you think it's because we're not supporting?
Yeah, we're not supporting the artists enough. Sometimes they get discouraged. When we see artists traveling to other countries where they are Ghanaians.
Yeah.
But you see the show in a very, very small place, and then they perform. But when they open it up, Ghana but Nigerians,
they will stop whatever they're doing.
They will stop whatever they are doing. Their artists around. They'll stop whatever they are doing, go support, fool the place, it gives you that encouragement to do more. You know, so we don't support our artists enough.
And when you say support, I mean, you've mentioned...
I'm not talking about money.
Yes.
To support it.
Okay, but don't you think money is also a part? Don't you think money, like maybe like big men like you, people who have enough to invest would say, okay, I'm going to pay for an auditorium in London, in Sussex somewhere, or in New York. We
have to... It's somebody's profession. You know, we have to... You know, pay them.
Okay.
You understand? To invest back into their work. You understand? You know, sometimes I remember last week somebody called me and the person wanted me to do something for him for some amount, and I was like, hey, if it was Michael Jordan, the person was from America. I said, if it was Michael Jordan, do you think you can offer him that kind of money? You know, so that is where we don't see. We have to see the person's value.
You think we don't see value in what we do? We don't think we deserve the kind of rewards we're supposed to get?
Yeah.
And wouldn't you blame that too on the fact that maybe from the onset we don't really invest so much into our craft ourselves? Because I believe in this. I believe business-wise, if we address you the way you dress. I mean, they always say that. I don't mean like dress like physically, but if your craft looks like it deserves 1 million, I will give you 1 million, right? Don't you think there's a case in that too?
Yeah, there's a case in that. You know, that is where Nkofoya settings. So they have to brand themselves. You understand?
Let me understand the settings bit.
Because
getting cars that are not theirs.
Yes, you understand.
You know, but do you think it's a good thing to do?
It's not a good thing to do.
Okay.
But we've
called for that.
We've called for that. You won't say, oh, Sana identity. So when a musician says, go live stream, just support the person. Like, won't say, sometimes somebody sells something to me. I see the person. I see that maybe the person is struggling. Like, hey, I have to support. May touch you. Like, may talk.
May the abuano.
May the abuano na onusum kunim. It's why you know. I see moon streaming. Moon streaming kakana mu fan support no.
But you know our people pay. They pay to stream songs from America and the rest, right?
There you go.
So it's just a support. It's just just a people not understanding.
Yes. Supporting. What are you supporting? Just support.
If I could just add.
Yes, add. Coordinator.
If we can stop glorifying people's shortcomings and mistakes and rather promote the good things that they are doing, then as a country and as music entertainment will go very, very far. But this is the case whereby an artist will go and perform a great show somewhere rather than spending more time in encouraging and thanking the person. The little thing that is actually wrong. Exactly what we become. So by so doing, we're sabotaging our own industry, and at the same time, in one hand, we want their industry to thrive. It's not possible.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. Yeah. All right, thank you so much. I think I've really enjoyed this interview. Captain, thank you so much for coming. Asamoah Gyan, coordinator. I didn't get your name. Sorry.
Franklin.
So Franklin is the coordinator for the all regional games. Asamoah Gyan is a former captain, Black Stars. Came to spend time with us on the Leaderboard series. If you want to watch back, it's on Facebook at Y1079FM. A big thank you going out to MTN Ghana, our proud sponsor. Good one going out to Zoha Studios, our multimedia partner as well, for being a part of this. So before you go, your final words to young people, to Ghanaians listening, beyond the all regional games, anything else you'd like to touch on? Any thank yous you'd like to say to anybody?
For me, I think it's all about the original games. You know, we want everybody to go on the website www.originalgames.com. Just register both female and male. You know, that is where we forget, because the registration when the females registration is a bit low. You know, because we don't promote the female that well, but it's male and female. You know, so that is where we want everybody to do. Original Games is here to improve sports in Ghana, you know, so let's support it and make it a successful one. We know the first edition, there will be a lot of a bit of struggles and everything, challenges and everything, but the next year is gonna be great. But this year is when we're launching it, so let's make it a success. So I'm urging everybody to come support all regional games, and everything will be fine in Ghana.
Right. Thank you so much, Asamoah Gyan. Thank you so much, the foundation, the team. Mr. Banfo John, for joining us. My boss over there, big ups to you. Thank you so much for spending time with us this morning, guys. It's been Wiley the Board series. Watch it back on our Facebook, okay? Y107.9 FM.
YTV, yearn for more.